Marine reacts to SCP-087, also known as the Stairwell, and is Object Class Euclid, by TheVolgun. As always, I'm going to be posting a link to the original channel and video down in the description below, so go ahead and make sure that you check them out. And this is again another SCP where I honestly have no information on it. All I'm really doing is going based off the title. I'm assuming it's Stairwell. I'm assuming it might lead you to a different dimension, might affect your mind, you might see things. But other than that, there's really nothing I can go on. This was requested quite a while back, so I figured that I'd get this one and just kind of see what it's about. I mean, how could a stairwell be an SCP, right? Or what anomalous properties it may or may not have. But before we get into the main SCP video, don't forget to like, subscribe. It really does help me out a lot. Hit that notification bell right there, and we get notified every time we do upload. Uploading sometimes twice a day, working on them in the mornings, releasing them in the late afternoon or late evening. That way when you all get off work, you can enjoy the videos at your leisure. So, without further ado, let's go ahead and see what SCP-087, or the Stairwell, is all about.
Good morning. My name is Dr. Gears, and I will be taking your lecture today. Please sit down and listen. The SCP we're going to be studying today is SCP-87, Object Class Euclid. Special Containment Procedures. SCP-87 is located on the campus. The doorway leading to SCP-87 is constructed of reinforced steel with an electro-release lock mechanism. It has been disguised to resemble a janitorial closet consistent with the design of the building. The lock mechanism on the doorknob will not release unless its bolts are applied in conjunction with counterclockwise rotation of the key. Inside the door is lined with 6 centimeters of industrial foam padding. Due to the results of the final exploration, no personnel are permitted access to SCP-87. Description: SCP-87 is an unlit platform staircase. The stairs descend on a 38-degree angle for 13 steps before reaching a semicircular platform of approximately 3 meters in diameter. Descent direction rotates 180 degrees at each platform. The design of SCP-87 limits subjects' visual range to approximately 1.5 flights. A light source is required for any subjects exploring SCP-87, as there are no lighting fixtures or windows present. Lighting sources brighter than 75 watts have shown to be ineffective, as SCP-87 seems to absorb excess light. Subjects' report and audio recordings confirm the distressed vocalizations from what is to be a child between the ages of and the source of the distress calls is estimated to be located approximately 200 meters below the initial platform. However, any attempts to descend the staircase have failed to bring subjects closer to the source. The depth of the descent calculated from Exploration 4, the longest exploration, is shown to be far beyond both the possible structure of both the building and the geological surroundings. At this time, it is unknown if SCP-87 has an endpoint.
Alright, so it's the staircase, and it's just, so it just keeps going down then, right? Or is it like how it shows in this picture here, where you'll go flight of stairs, little landing, flight of stairs, little landing, so on and so forth. It's kind of reminded me of this part in the SCP containment breach game where I was going through a room and then I was going through the same hallway over and over, even though I was going in a different room technically, but the room would still be the same. So I forgot what it was called. It's called like something spatial compartment or something like that, where it's like there wouldn't be an end in that case, but in this case they don't know if it has an end point. So just reminded me of that for a bit.
SCP-87 has undergone 4 video recorded explorations by D-Class personnel. Each subject conducting an exploration has encountered SCP-87-1, which appears as a face with no visible pupils, nostrils, or mouth. The nature of SCP-87-1 is entirely unclear, but it has been determined that it is not the source of the bleeding. Subjects exhibit feelings of intense paranoia and fear when faced with SCP-87-1, but it is undetermined whether said feelings are abnormal or simply natural reactions. Addendum. Over a period of 2 weeks following Exploration 4, several members of staff and students from the campus reported knocking at a variable rate of 1 to 2 seconds per knock coming from the interior of SCP-87. The door leading to SCP-87 has been fitted with a 6 centimeter thick industrial padding. All reports of knocking have ceased. This is document 87-1.
It's fucking dark. Is your flood lamp functioning properly? Yeah, it's working. I just feel like these stairs...
Wait, hold on. I wanted to make sure that they're not... Oh, okay. See, there was a little part right here that I don't think they read. Just read it real quick. Document 087-1, Exploration 1D, A432 is a 43-year-old Caucasian male of average build and appearance and unremarkable psychological background. Class C designation is a result of demotion due to mishandling SCP D class. A432 is equipped with the 75-watt flood lamp with battery power capable lasting 24 hours, a handheld camcorder fitted with a transmission stream, an audio headset for communication with Dr. Redacted at control. D-Class steps through the doorway to an initial platform. Despite the wattage, the flood lamp only illuminates the first 9 steps. The second platform is not visible. And then we get into this part right here. I'm assuming this is gonna have is gonna be how they found out that a 75 watt is only gonna go a certain distance. So, all right, let's get back into it.
Thank you. Please continue. Reason for stopping? You hear that? There's a fucking kid down there. Sounds like one. Could you please describe the sound?
Because I feel like there's certain parts of it that's not being read. Because they just said reason for stopping, right? Hold on. Let me rewind it just a little bit.
Could you please describe the sound? It's young, either a female or a very young boy. It's crying and sobbing, saying, "Please help. Please." Yeah, it just keeps repeating that and crying. Can you estimate its distance from your current location? Fuck, I don't know. Maybe 200 meters down? Please continue down the next flight. Can you still hear the crying? Yeah, we're picking it up as well. Please continue down. Stop if you notice any changes in the audio or environment.
Okay, so there's a lot of parts that aren't being read, and I'm not trying to make this... I honestly, if I were to read it, it would probably be a very long video, so I'm going to read this on a different time. As of right now, I'm just going to listen to what they're saying and kind of try to picture it in my head. I'll try to see if I can catch anything where the script is written out.
Keep going. Please. I'm not getting any fucking closer to that kid. Noted. Please continue. I feel a little uneasy. You spent a long time in a dark, unknown stairwell. It's natural. Please continue. Can you describe what you see? It's some sort of fucking person face thing that's looking right at me. It's looking right at me. Is it moving? No, it's just staring at me. It's creepy. Please approach and further illuminate the entity.
And this is document 87-2.
You want me to go down there, Doc? Please shine your flood lamp outside of SCP-087 to verify it's functioning properly. Thank you. Please continue to the first landing. Hey, Doc, I know you said no, but, I don't think I want to go down there. Please continue to the first landing. Doc, look, as per our earlier conversation, please continue to the first landing. Is that a kid? Please remove one of the adhesive lights and affix it to the wall on the landing. Doc, you hear that? That's unconfirmed. Please affix an adhesive light to the wall and verify it functions. Please turn off your flood lamp. Thank you. You may turn your flood lamp back on. Please continue to descend. At each landing, please affix an LED light to the wall and turn it on. If you notice anything unusual, please report it. Can you still hear the previously reported audio?
Yeah. Sounds about 150, maybe 200 meters down. Am I supposed to go get her? Look, Doc, I don't do good with kids.
Please place the light and continue down until you notice anything unusual.
I don't think I'm getting any closer to the camp, Doc.
How far below would you estimate the source of the sound to be?
Same as before. 150, 200 meters down.
Thank you. Please proceed.
You see that?
Yes. Can you please describe what you see?
Looks like something slashed in the wall. And the step over here is all crumbled and stuff. The slash marker looks really smooth. Yeah, it's smooth. Feels like glass.
Thank you. Please continue down.
Look, Doc, I think I've gone far enough.
Please continue as per our agreement.
I don't want to be doing this. Agreement or not. I feel like the kid's just trying to lure me down here, Doc. I think it's time for me to...
Is there a reason you stopped? Please relax and calm down. Turn around. Need a closer look at the face. D9.
To be honest, man, can you really blame him? I mean, he probably saw the face. Or I mean, technically they said that they didn't get a good look. But I'm trying to read everything and also listen at the same time. It's just really hard. This is one of those moments where it's just... this video might be a little awkward. I might miss some things. So, I mean, if anybody comments anything I missed down below. But I've thought about maybe the stairwell, or the stairwell being like, not necessarily maybe going on forever, but maybe it's a loop. But then I thought, since they're putting lights on every single landing, that wouldn't be possible, because then they would run into the same lights. So I got the loop theory in my head, and I was kind of agreeing with this D-class that he was saying that it feels like he's trying to get lured in by the crying. But they did say that the face theory, are not even sure what its intentions are. But yeah, we'll see if we can find any more information though.
035. Can you hear me? Please slow down. D9035. Can you hear me?
Unfortunately, document 3 was completely corrupted in transit today, so I'll be going through exactly what happened, as the transcript of the recording is still available. D9884 is a 23-year-old female of average build and appearance. Psychological background indicates a history of depression. Subject has a minimal record.
So I don't know if this was written this way from the person who wrote it, this SCP, or if it was just TheVolgun himself trying to save himself some time. But I mean, and I'm not saying anything bad about TheVolgun, but when he reads it out like word for word, that's when I usually understand it best, just because I'm not having to like read through a whole bunch, because sometimes you got them talking here, it's describing what's going on, and then it's going to show them down here that they're talking again, and it's just a whole bunch of information I feel like I'm missing. But either way, this is good. I like this type.
Of using excessive force to do. D9884 is equipped with a 75-watt flood lamp with a battery power capable of lasting 24 hours, a handheld camcorder fitted with a transmission stream, and an audio headset for communication with Dr. at control. D9884 is also equipped with a backpack containing 3.75 liters of water, 15 nutrient bars, and 1 thermal blanket. D9884 stands on the ground level landing of SCP-87. Flood lamp illuminates only the first 9 steps. LED lights placed on the wall during the last exploration are not visible. D9884 descends 13 steps and stops at the landing.
Wait. The flood lamp illuminates on the first 9 steps. LED lights placed on the wall during the last exploration are not visible. Huh. No, but then again, it still wouldn't be a loop because the person who was putting them there when he was going through it should have came across some of the same levels. So yeah, so it still kind of throws that theory out, but that is interesting. I'm assuming it's the creepy face that's maybe taking these lights off, or maybe it resets after someone comes in. I don't know.
There is no trace of the LED light at the location. Footage from Exploration 2 indicates it was placed. She mentions the walls being dirty and them being sticky. D9884 indicates the spot on the wall the LED light should have been located. D9884 notes she can hear a child crying, begging for help. D9884 descends. Upon reaching the next landing, audio of the crying child consistent with the prior 2 explorations is picked up. No LED lights appear to be present on any of the landing walls. D9884 continues with no incident until she reaches the 17th landing. D9884 notes there is something on the ground, and it smells bad, apparently sticky, and it has stuck to her shoe. Video feed confirms the presence of substance occupying a space approximately 50 centimeters in diameter. When Doc asks her to describe the scent, D9884 responds by saying it smells like old rusty metal and urine. D9884 continues to the 51st landing without incident. The 51st landing remains unchanged from the previous expedition, and similar observations are made. D9884 is asked again to descend until anything unusual is noticed. Subject continues her descent until the 89th landing is reached. The video feed jerks and the subject yells. D9884 almost fell into a hole in the ground. Video feed confirms the presence of a hole approximately 1 meter in diameter. The subject shines the floodlight down, revealing only blackness. Approximately 4 seconds pass, and a light of indeterminate distance down the hole flicks on for approximately 2 seconds, and then back off. D9884 notes that she sees the light, but she can't see it anymore. She also notes it was at least 1 kilometer away, and finally notes that the child still sounds far away, despite being 89 floors down. D9884 continues to descend SCP-87 for approximately 1 hour, covering an additional 164 flights. She stops to rest on the 253rd landing, consuming 1 nutrient bar and several gulps of water. D9884 is at an estimated 1.1 kilometers below the initial landing, yet the sound of the child has not changed in volume. After pausing for 4 minutes, D9884 resumes her descent, making no stops for another 216 flights. 1.5 hours later, D9884 is on the 469th landing, an approximate 1.8 kilometers below the ground level. D9884 reports feeling frustrated at this point, saying, "I'm not getting anywhere. I think it's time I went back. I mean, going down is one thing, but this is a long climb back." Control informs her that she has been provided with food, water, and blankets to last her 24 hours, and to please continue down. Subject refuses and says she is going back up. D9884 turns toward the previous flight of stairs. At this point, D9884 is heard to be screaming in terror. SCP-87-1, the face is directly behind D9884, blocking her ascent. The face appears approximately 30 centimeters from the lens of the camera. Its eyes are fixed directly on the lens, this time looking not at the subject, but the person viewing the video feed. The video feed glitches and freezes for 4 seconds, accompanied by a static-like screeching noise from the audio feed. It then cuts to bumpy visuals of D9884 descending the stairs rapidly. At this point, D9884 is absolutely hysterical, panicking, saying that SCP-87-1 is following her. This whole time it's been right behind me, pleading for help from control. This goes on for quite a while. It's quite unsettling to listen to. D9884 continues to scream and plead hysterically as she rapidly descends the staircase. The previously heard static-like screeching seems to overlay the audio feed, beneath which can still be heard the original sound of the crying child. Approximately 14 flights down, the video feed swings to show the area directly behind D9884. The face is now approximately 20 centimeters from the camera lens. It is not staring at the subject, rather it is fixated on the camera lens, giving the illusion it's making eye contact with those viewing the footage. It is important to note that since the sighting of SCP-87-1, the sound of the girl crying and pleading has been increasing in volume, indicating D9884 is nearing the source. After an approximate 150 panicked flights of descent, with 3 visual confirmations of SCP-87-1 still in pursuit, D9881 trips and appears to fall unconscious. Audio feed indicates strong proximity to the source of the crying. The static and screeching noise continue. Video feed shows yet another descending flight of stairs, indicating D9884 has still not reached the base of the stairwell. 12 seconds of motionlessness pass before the face comes in full view of the camera, eye contact being made directly with the viewer. Audio and video feed cuts out, and no connection is re-established. As I've said, Document 4 has been expunged by the higher-ups, and this concludes our lesson for today. Thank you very much for listening. You are dismissed.
Alright, let's talk about that for a minute. Now, there really isn't too much to say. It was kind of hard to get a grasp with the... because I'm really used to like just hearing them talk, and then just kind of using like the little script that they have on the side as kind of like a little reference point, or just so I can follow along. But as soon as that started to delineate from the actual voice, that's where it kind of threw me off. But you know, I follow the best I can. So just a couple quick questions on, or theories as to what I have on this. So it's definitely not a loop. Since they're getting closer to the sound of the voice of the baby, there's got to be an end at some point. The 087-1. No idea what it can possibly be. I mean, also one little theory, or just one little thing to keep in mind. Honestly, the whole time that she was going down there, this last D-class personnel, never really thought like, you know, you're gonna have to climb those stairs back up eventually. I was also curious to see if that would even have been the case, because I don't think they reported any of the D-class personnel saying that as soon as they turned around, it's like they only went down a couple flights. I mean, that could have been a possibility, but most likely not, just because it said with at least that second one that the D-class personnel was continuously running for quite a bit of time until you passed out. I'm pretty sure all have survived. They weren't really too specific on whether or not they did, but they didn't say that they did die, so it's kind of up in the air. So definitely not a whole lot to say about with this video or this SCP, but if you were to imagine yourself in this type of scenario, you can understand why it would make your skin kind of crawl or just be scared in general. You know, it's dark, you can't see, not knowing that you can only see a certain amount in front of you. I believe it said about 9 steps, and then all of a sudden you see a face. Not to mention the people viewing it through the camera, the SCP Foundation. Seems like now this thing knows about them and is viewing them. I'm assuming this is Euclid just because it's really easy to contain. They got a disguise as a janitor's closet. Other than that, that's going to do it for this video. If you're curious to see what videos are coming up next, go ahead and check the description. You'll see a little list there. And I'll have 5, and then it'll be top to bottom in the order that I'm going to be doing them. And as always, don't forget to like, subscribe. It really does help me out a lot. Dislike if you didn't like the video. Really helps me improve the channel. And until then, I'll see you all in the next video. Bye.